Have you ever wondered how different does it feel to dance with people from other parts of the world? Well, let's find out. Hello, and welcome back to ZoukNerds. My name is Alisson Sandi, and today we're gonna get into our part 2 of the episode with Fernando and Olga. And we're gonna be discussing how different does it feel to dance with people from other parts of the world. How does each local culture, community, and interests and trends can influence your experience when social dancing? So, let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Alisson Sandi, and this is the part 2 of our very exciting interview with Fernando and Olga from Bremen, Germany. And today we have our co-host here, Guy Prada, as well.
Hello, my people again.
Yes, we did leave on a cliffhanger question.
Yes.
So, Fernando, would you mind asking that question for us again?
Yeah, I think almost everybody knows that Guy was traveling the last year, visiting very different local scenes everywhere. And I was very curious about the differences that he saw, and if he could even to have the reference local class, local social, yeah?
Yes.
To see how they influence each other.
Man, thank you for this question. I would spend the whole time just responding to this because it brings up so many important things to my mind, and also very passionate about this topic, as you know. First thing, I did not notice this time around so much of a difference in the social dancing from place to place. The places that have some sort of scene and classes going on, the differences in social dancing is actually not that big. When I first started traveling last year, I felt a big difference when I went to Australia, for example, and then when I went to New Zealand. So I started noticing these differences. Coming back this year, I did not feel them the same way. So I think that in a way, the scenes, at least in this side of the world, New Zealand, Australia, Asia, is pretty much in the same frequency. I'll put it like that. And interestingly enough, I haven't seen so much of a relation of local class with the social dancing the same way that I used to notice before. I'll give an example. For example, in Japan, in Tokyo, they don't have so much consistency in local classes. And how do they solve this? They have groups that they get together to train. So there's a lot of horizontal learning where they exchange with each other, and a lot of weekenders. So I was actually very impressed when I went to Japan and I danced with people, and I was like, man, this is really good. Do you guys have classes every week all the time? They said no. So this was something interesting. One thing that I noticed is that the places that have consistency of teaching, they grow really fast, like here in Taiwan. In Taiwan, I think, right, Alisson, in 2 years, 1 year and a half, they grew so much. It's so incredible to witness what is going on here. And they have classes on a consistent basis. They have classes every Thursday at one school, and I think every Sunday in the other school.
Friday and Sunday.
Friday and Sunday. So it's very consistent, and people are really passionate about it. But the main thing that I noticed in my travels is that no matter where in the world I was, the challenges were the same. People had the same struggles with the same topics. So then I realized that there is something in the way that we are teaching Brazilian Zouk, that we are leaving some gaps in people's learning. And this is the thing that I am collecting even more. So I can say a couple of things: timing, posture, and transitions. Transitions is something that most scenes struggle with a little bit. The way that I test this is really interesting. I ask people to do a lunge, a simple turn, a bonus, and a soltinho, one after the other. From the lunge, go to the bonus, from the bonus, go to the soltinho. And then I could witness people that could do toalha, having a hard time connecting a soltinho to a bônus to a simple term. So
Yeah,
I
welcome in
realized
the time of Jack and Jill. Welcome in the times of Jack and Jill.
we are in times
Yeah.
like it. So this middle block here, so people learn all the basic steps, then they learn a few variations, then they go to the head movements. There is in this middle block to combine the things that we are skipping. And that's the thing that I've been noticing most places that I go. Yeah. So summarized version of my experience traveling around.
I would
Yeah.
like
But this
to ask you guys, but maybe we'll start with Olga to answer. What do you feel when you're traveling and you're dancing with different leaders from different methodologies and different levels of experiences? What do you think out there that makes a great dance or makes you feel like safe or unsafe, and that makes you feel like having a great party?
You're speaking now about one leader or community? If you're speaking about one leader or community?
Community. You
About
go
the
to
community.
another country and you go to a social, as you go to different countries, different socials, different cities, across the board for you, anywhere you go, what makes you feel safe? What makes you feel like there is a confidence in knowledge and the movements that they're doing matches with the level that they should be doing? Does that make sense?
Kind of, yes. Going if we are visiting the local community, that I like the example of Aarhus, the Denmark. We are going there very regularly, and we have kind of similarity between the leaders inside. Yeah, because they are growing in our community, they have kind of maybe some teacher or exchanging of the technique, and they, for example, I know if I will go to Aarhus, I will have a great time. That matter if to be beginners, advanced, intermediate leaders. Yeah, because they have all this way of first they're taking care about the follower, about not what they're trying to impress me, because they know, okay, we are dancing with the teacher, but what they just try to do is just to have a nice time together, to connect with each other. Maybe we can just hug or dance basic step for free or for songs, and it'll be fun because they're there for me, but not like they're trying to make something showy. Yeah, and another example, I don't know if you're going to another community where maybe not many regular classes or the teachers more teaching some showy stuff. You see like they're trying to impress you, and after half of the song, we don't have anything to do with each other. And
Yes.
it was very funny. One social, it was one guy danced with me, and we danced only 30 seconds. And it was like
But they were very impressive.
30 seconds, the best seconds of my life. He invited me 30 seconds, start from my leg, counterbalances, crazy head movements. And after we're like, song is still running, I'm just looking to me and like, thank you so much, it was great. I was like, okay.
Wow.
So
Damn.
the different, yeah. And for me, I really love communities. Like, I'm not speaking about one leader. The question was about community where I feel this soft environment of the people. When you're going there, they're welcoming, they're taking you like a person, not like, hey, there's the teacher, they're keeping a distance or they're trying to get you. But I like the environments that they're taking you, first of all, like a human, and they're trying just to have a good time together, and then trying to impress you or to get you for themselves. So I think this is the answer. If it, okay.
No, it's amazing. Thank you. Yeah. And I was curious about you guys, if you have any desire to travel more, to do more events, to do more congresses, to do more weekenders. If this is something in your radar, do you guys want to travel more?
It's happening. It's happening. It's happening to us because after being in Thailand, it was the very first time for me outside of Europe, and
wow.
I really enjoy a lot just meeting other people, and this was super nice. And then we are already planning what we are doing next year. So we would like it. I don't know how it will be. And I'm a bit worried about this because the more we invest in international experience, the worse the school is going.
Exactly.
It's like it's so difficult to, and there is a moment that you feel like you cannot invest time in everything. So if we are doing things for the internet, if we are trying to be or getting more invitations, going to places, and at the same time investing energy in the dance school like it was the very first day in our lives. It's like I don't know where to get the energy for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about if it will be good to have something like the role of the promoter, you know, a person that is really investing energy in acquire new people. But actually what we did, we went on Monday to bachata classes.
You surrendered.
Yeah, we surrendered.
I
We went-
surrendered.
Yeah, because back in the days, what we did, what happened? You have a small Zouk room in a salsa party where
Yes.
somebody lost themselves and what is this? And then to Zouk. And nowadays with salsa is not anymore, it's bachata. And what could be better than bachata that actually after the sensual approach is just taking elements from Zouk. Yeah. So it's actually perfect. So I think now the point is to be more in contact with at least our next step in Bremen will be to know a bit more this scene. But I realize some good things that they have, really good things. Like we focus so much on technique, but because they do choreographies, they all more or less are dancing at the parties, doing something. And they are 1-2 songs, next partner, 1-2 songs, next partner. Everybody's coming to the dance floor. And we are getting so much in Zouk into connection, which is great and which I love. And this is the reason why I'm dancing. But sometimes we go too much into it that we forgot the social part of taking everybody to the dance floor. That everybody should be happy and not get people frustrated going home because they almost haven't danced during the party. So we have still things to learn and to change, and we will be always be like this.
Absolutely. One of my friends and mentors back in Australia, he managed to create one of the largest dance schools that have ever seen. And it's very much focused on just beginners, not much intermediates or advanced, right? But his classes will have 100 to 150 students per class. It's a whole ballroom, stage, cameras, microphones. But his main focus is just to have people socialize, have fun, and enjoy themselves. It's not to make beautiful performers, amazing competitors, or anything like that. And he always told me, you know, Alisson, the biggest problem that I see with some communities, and especially with Zouk, is that a lot of the teachers in Zouk are so nerdy and passionate about the dance that they end up trying to teach how they learn. So they go to a private lesson and they spend hours and hours on their lateral and on their weight transfer, and then they go and teach a beginner class, and that's all they do. And there's nothing wrong with focusing on a few things at the time, but what he was saying was that he feels like every time he goes to a Zouk class, people are just standing there and listening to the teacher instead of dancing and socializing and having fun. And that kind of brings it to the social as well, because as you said, we're so focused on connection and quality, on comfort, that, you know, because we have to calibrate, we have to feel each other, we don't have to, but we want to calibrate, we want to feel each other, and we want to do this kind of things that can take a little bit longer. Ends up that you dance 3, 5, 7 songs with the same person. So then that party, social feeling, it kind of fades away because people are looking for quality over quantity. Whereas I think in the salsa and bachata community is more about, I want to dance with as many people as possible, and I want to dance as many songs as possible, instead of, I want all of my dances to be amazing. So to have amazing dances, I have to take my time. and I have to just slowly build it. So it's a very different thing. So he basically, the point that I'm trying to make is like, he really opened my eyes, say, in my opinion, the Zouk community is only going to grow like to a very sustainable size once you guys start adapting and introducing a little bit more of that social aspect of people want to move, people want to dance. And the more you do that in class, the more people do that at the socials. So he actually asked me, he said, can you just go to salsa beginner classes, bachata beginners classes, in the club, in the bar, anywhere, just go and experience how much movement there is. Every like 30 seconds, they're high five, change partners, and they go through so many movements. And I did feel like I felt really happy at the end of every class. I don't remember so much what I learned, but I felt very happy. So it's kind of like, what should you teach in the first 6 months? You know, what should you teach? Should you teach the students to be the best at body mechanics and have the cleanest basics? Or should you give them an experience that they want to come back every week in terms of having fun and feeling relaxed and feeling like, oh, they can't wait for next week because it's the happiest moment of their week?
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's all balancing things out, right? I think it's amazing if we can bring a class that brings a technique so people can bring the comfort to their dance and the comfort to dance with someone else. And also bring the social aspect, the human aspect, like Olga was talking about, right? She likes to go to places where they see her as a human. And that's so beautiful. I think that's something really important that would be amazing if we could bring this in the regular classes. That's a very important aspect that Jaime had very present in his classes. And sometimes there are things that are hard to talk about in a way.
Connect with people. How to connect with people?
Connect with people. And I also like to keep in mind the historical, cultural aspect too, because we're teaching a Brazilian dance that comes in the context of Brazilian social dancing, which is historically and culturally things that were developed, created in the streets where people wanted to hang out and be around each other. When I talked to my grandfather, he's 95. When he was young, he's from an era in Rio where they had the big social dancing gatherings. He didn't know how to dance. He never learned properly how to dance, but he would go to these places to hang out with people and to do the basic steps, side to side, and try to see what he could create. And samba de gafieira, bolero, soltinho, forró, above all of them, is the dance that embody this aspect of community, of let's get together and socialize as we dance. So I think it's important to have these things in mind, which are so easy to forget. I think when we get so into what we teach, in what order do we teach, what is the technique we want to bring, this sucks our energy so much that sometimes we need to calm down, take a breath, and say, we can ask people just to look at each other and smile. And that's okay. And that's something that is going to actually make a big difference, you know? Yeah.
The problem is most of us are Zouk nerds, and that's why we're here. Because we really dance nerds, Zouk nerds, technique nerds. But we do have to, we do have to think about the community. Yes, Olga?
There's one thing Fernando does in Prague Marathon to socialize.
See the secrets.
I like it, and maybe we just need to do it more in the not only there.
Okay, tell.
It's the last day.
The reframing. Prague Marathon is like people are dancing with each other 2 hours. Yeah. Like 4, 5, 6 days long.
And he does in the last day only one song.
Or two.
Or 2 songs with follower is fine. So 1 free follower, 1 or 2 songs, next one.
I just
without staying for hours.
I just ask very respectfully, look, I haven't danced with all the people that are here. Yeah. And today is the day that I would like to dance with everybody. It's okay for you if we dance just one song. What I did, I took 2 more students of me that they were taking the followers that I were letting after one song. So we were getting all the people that are sitting with bad face because they are not going to the dance floor. I was taking every follower, dancing with the follower. Only one dance, but look, here you have somebody more. And then we were taking this way. Yeah.
That's very smart.
That's
Very
amazing.
smart.
I love that.
This
You
was
get
fun.
people up and dancing, and then you outsource.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
That's
that so
amazing.
much.
This is something what is happening now in bachata because they're dancing one or two songs, but we
Mhm.
don't do it in Zouk. But the way how he does it in the last day in marathon, it's kind of the same. So he is getting like a lot of people to dance and make them happy. So it's nice.
Yeah, I do feel that as a leader, sometimes when I want to dance with everybody, I have to explain myself. I have to say, I'm so sorry, I really want to dance with everybody in the room. Like if I stop after 2 or 3 songs. Because sometimes I feel like I'm breaking their heart or I'm making them feel like they're not good enough for me just because I stopped after 2 or 3 songs. When in reality, I'm just there to dance with more people and I want to dance with more people. And I see a lot of people sitting down and I want to go there, invite them. So yeah, it's sometimes uncomfortable to have to explain to every follower that I want to dance with more people, but making sure that I tell them, you know, how amazing that dance that we just had was, so they don't feel like, oh, you just want to move on to a better one. No, that's not it. I just really want to connect with everybody, especially coming from a teacher's perspective. If I'm doing a weekender here in the city, I want to make sure that I go and I dance with everybody because I want to connect with them, not just in class, but also physically in person.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that the culture that we created in Zouk, where the long dances became part of the etiquette, sometimes create this in the flow of the social where we have someone dancing for a long time while other people are waiting for a long time. So I think to have, again, balance would be so amazing if we could have balance. I once had a meeting, I did a call with advanced leaders in DC to ask, why do you do long dances as a rule? And what prevents you from dancing less but with more people? And I got really, really interesting answers from that question and from that call that we can talk about in another one, because then we can branch to a whole new topic. But it's really interesting, and it goes a lot along what Alisson was saying. For me to have this amazing experience, I need time. So people are indeed looking for this holistic experience with Brazilian Zouk sometimes, which requires them time, which requires them to stay with the same person for an hour. But the question that I wanted to make to you guys, and I'm really curious. So last episode, we had Pedro and Sibeli here to talk about how they made it into the market, how they made it into the international scene. And they made it through a different avenue that I think you guys did. They made it through increasing their exposure, so participating in the competitions, getting into the social media appearances and doing all the Jack and Jills and everything as much as they could to show so people could see them, going to the classes, doing classes with people, social dance as much as they could. With you guys, I think you guys took a different route. You guys made it into the market, to my understanding, through how it feels like to dance with your students, the system that you guys created, and the feeling of dance with you, which is, like you said, you have like, oh, there's something different about it. I want to understand a little bit more. So that's why we wanted to bring you guys here, because we would like to bring this diversity of how people made it into the international scene. And the question that I wanted to ask you is, based on your own experience, what would you advise an aspiring instructor if they want to make it into the international market? If they want to be invited to the weekenders, congresses, festivals. If, for example, a cup comes to you and say, Fernando and Olga, I want to make it into the international scene, what do I do?
Yeah, I think, at least for me, the answer will be to be authentic. Because I have the feeling that sometimes a lot of people trying to do the same thing, they cannot make a difference with other couples. we are speaking about a product for the free time of the people.
True.
Yeah. And the product should have something different. So, and I think you cannot do something different just copying what other people are doing. I think, for example, our way with the atoms was like going deeper and deeper into some thoughts. It was not like taking things from outside. Is we start with some thoughts and we go deeper and deeper. Even if we know that this was something not very sexy inside of the dance world, because to call to something atoms, that's like science, right? And I want to dance and I want to have feelings and enjoy. Yeah, but it was like, I will say, to be authentic and to have consistency. These two things. Because we like from the very beginning, we were very like, hey, this thing of atoms is very good and it's working very good, and we continue with it. If we will have a stop, then nothing comes. We start 2020. So now we are start to see that they start to go up, but it was 4 years that we continue, 1 week, one more week, one more week. So I will say these two things. So what do you really love? Stick with it and have consistency.
Would you add anything,
Maybe
Olga?
just not much. Maybe what normally we are losing when we are becoming more international is to be human, close to the people. So this is sometimes a missing in a lot of teachers. Like they are going around, there is the classes, and after they disappear. So, but I mean, if you want to be also international, you just stay still close to the people.
Start being local teacher. Being local teacher. Do your homework, being local teacher. Connect with people, be a soldat, be a Zouk soldat, and after you can continue with your travel.
Yeah, Zouk soldier.
Zouk soldier, yeah.
Yes, be a Zouk soldier. No, I think this is very important because, in my opinion, there is a very clear difference between a teacher that came and became international and famous, but before that, they did a lot of group classes with 5 people, 10 people, 1 person, new people all the time, different ages and different backgrounds, somebody who spent a lot of time in that before they started traveling, or a teacher that became a great dancer, quickly learned how to teach and travel the world. There's a huge difference when you go to a class, or even the social dancing attitude and etiquette. Yes, absolutely. Even if they, let's say, they did become a great dancer, they became a teacher and they are traveling the world, go back and stabilize yourself in a community wherever it is in the world and do regular classes, because I find that regular classes teaches so much to me as a teacher. Seeing the students every week and how what I did, what I didn't do with this group and that group and that group works differently for different people. So I think, yes, there is a huge difference, and I do prefer to learn from people who teach regular classes more than just traveling. I think they have a better and a deeper understanding on how to teach to anybody versus how to just teach a class and whoever can do it, but then most of the people cannot do it. So yeah, I like to learn from people who have a system that is accessible.
Yeah, and then we can actually verify it by dancing with the people that learn from them, which is, I think, is your guys' case very much. Like going there and dancing with the people that learn from you. It's like, okay, they are learning something very valuable here. I want to know what it is. Who is teaching them? Let me bring them here to my place so they can transmit this idea, which is something that Pedro was talking about. He said, teaching locally gives me this insight of what actually works, or what are the things that are approachable or the things that are not. So I think this is, for me, really important also as an instructor as well, to teach locally, to stay longer with the scenes so we can see if the things we're talking about actually work, if actually brings the results that we want, which is a good and fun, light, human social dancing.
Absolutely. And I know I personally have so many more questions to you guys. Unfortunately, we do not have more time today, and we'll have to have you back sometime in the future if you don't
We
mind.
Of course.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
feel thank you very much for inviting us to the interview. We feel very honored to be part of these interviews. From the very beginning, we were following the ZoukNerds in the pandemic time. It was super nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for coming, and we really want to talk to you guys more. We want to have a season, right, Alisson, talk about systems, teaching methodologies, and then you guys are first in our minds.
Absolutely. Yes. Then we can talk even more about atoms and how it started and how it changed from the beginning to the middle and to what it is now, because I'm sure as you develop it, you learn so much about it. So it'll be great to have you guys in the future. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
And we are looking forward to seeing you guys in the future and everybody else in the next episode. So thank you very much, guys. See you on the
Take
next
care, everybody.
ZoukNerds.
Take care, people.
See you.
Bye.
Ciao.